Zelda.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Tetra, and if you enjoyed last night's Legend of Zelda First Quest run, you're going to love to see what comes next. On commentary with me, I have Threach.
Welcome, everyone. Zelda 1, now with more quest. Welcome to Second Quest. It's going to be an exciting night for sure. If you haven't seen Second Quest before, it's just like First Quest, except much, much harder. So we are going to have a good time.
All right, great. Why don't we go ahead with the countdown?
All right.
Ella, would you mind counting us down?
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so Tetra's going to be starting Second Quest tonight. It is known for being exceptionally difficult and trolly whenever you're playing this casually. The speedrun isn't too bad, but people do liken this casual game to almost a Kaizo version of Zelda. So it is definitely going to throw us some curveballs here as we progress through the first part of the run. And then as we head back into the back half of the run, once the combat starts to get a little bit dicier. So Tetra, during this run, is going to be keeping track of the enemies that she's killing during the course of the run in a very particular and scripted order. And we refer to that as the global counter. So the global counter is basically determining the drops that you can get from certain enemies. And while it is random, you can still increase your chances there. We see a really good bomb drop here from the Gorillas. These are really likely to be dropped by the enemy in general, but we do need one in order to progress to this screen right here where Tetra is going to use that block clip ability, or a glitch rather, that we saw yesterday in First Quest to get past these keys without actually needing to kill them. So that bomb chase is about 65% off of one of those Gorillas, but if they hadn't dropped it, there's still a backup strat. So we're in a marathon, we know what's going on, so always have backup strats. You might recognize these guys from First Quest 2, the wall masters that, you need to be right up against the wall in order to spawn them, but they are actually in a room with the bubbles too. So at this point, you don't want to be spending any bombs on destroying them. You instead want to be using your wood sword. So when the bubbles hit you and you can't use your sword, you do have to be careful with the resources that you're using there. So quick takedown of Aquamentus, grabbing that first heart, and there's a really quick level 1 there for Tetra as she picks up that first piece of Triforce.
Yeah, and also got really great resources.
Yep, 16 rupees and 5 bombs coming out of 1 is a good position to be in.
Yeah, you folks don't know how many backup strats I had planned for what would happen if that didn't happen, so I'm definitely thankful for the RNG so far.
Yep. So as Tetra screen scrolls over here, we're going to see her pick up an item that you really don't ever pick up during First Quest Zelda 1, and that is the Power Bracelet. Now, the Power Bracelet is used to move certain stones around on the overworld that allow you to access certain locations. And generally, you don't need that in order to get to any of the levels in First Quest, but in Second Quest, you do need that to get into level 4. So we're going to see a little bit more of the money-making game manipulation that we saw yesterday in the First Quest run. Tetra absolutely hitting the nail on the head, grabbing that first 50 in the middle, and should see another 50 here on the left. There we go. Good pickup. We got the money we need, so we can keep going through. Tetra is going to head up and over to level 2. You'll see that in Second Quest, you're expecting the levels to be in one location, but they have in fact been shuffled around. So she's going to be going to all these different spots in the overworld in order to locate these new levels. Some of them are behind recorder whistles, so it is just a whole mess here. And there's a blue candle pickup from the shop. Trying to get some more bombs. Excellent first bomb drop there from the blue Octorok, so shouldn't be too worried about bomb economy at this point. We pass by the Westlake Mall, the mall that's west of the lake, as we head into level 2 here underneath this Armos statue. So level 2, we're just going to be here for a second. We're going to grab the recorder so that Tetra can progress through some of the other levels. Gibdos in second quest, really not too much of an issue compared to first quest. You'll see that some of the enemies that are in second quest do get a little bit of an upgrade or a downgrade from a player's perspective. So we want to make sure, so Tetra just picked a key up off the ground. We want to make sure that it's that we get any easy keys that we come across in here, including ones that are just laying on the ground. They are pretty scarce in second quest, so it's really important to pick those up whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one where all you have to basically do is trade a bomb for a key, so it's definitely one of the better ones to get.
Yep.
There's also a key you can get from this manhandler here, but given how random manhandlers can be, I'm going to opt to skip that in favor of less RNG-dependent keys.
Yeah, manhandlers just really do not want you to have a good time in this game. Tetra, where can you possibly go from here? Oh,
maybe
wait.
right through the wall.
Maybe that's definitely a possibility in second quest. So if you are playing this game casually and you did not know it, it turns out you can actually walk through walls here. So just make sure you're checking those out. Tetra knows exactly where to go, but that level 2 thankfully does give you a little bit of guidance into it. So having grabbed the recorder, it doesn't block any levels in first quest except for level 7, which you need to get into the recorder, and then level 5 to get into the lake, and then level 5 to defeat the Digdogger. But in second quest, blocks levels 2, 3, and 4, so you really need it to make any progress here. So question in chat, how are you meant to know you can walk through walls? Thankfully, level 2 in second quest does give you a little bit of guidance there. You're in that vertical shoot room, and really you don't get any instructions. You're just supposed to go through trial and error. So second quest really is the more difficult version of the run that is used to test, your willingness to explore the game and try new things.
So now we're going to go into level 6, which is a little bit of a dangerous place to be this early in a run.
Yep, level 6 unfortunately has the ladder pretty deep into it, so we need to go get that. You'll see this very frequently in second quest runs where you go in, you dip into level 6, grab the ladder, and then get out in favor of beating some easier levels, or, well, easy is relative. So you really are looking more to dodge enemies in here rather than killing them. So you can get good spawn patterns in here that allow you to know exactly where you need to walk to avoid the enemies.
That was not a good spawn pattern, unfortunately, with the red wizard getting right in my way. So fortunately was able to dodge that, but definitely a close call.
Yep, those wizarobes are not friendly in here. So question in chat, did we skip the Triforce in 2? Yes, until later in the run. We're going to come back and get that boss whenever we have a few more hearts and maybe a sword upgrade or 2.
Yeah, a lot of the more experienced runners do pick it up while you're there, but since you're going to be only one screen south of it to buy arrows later in the run, I do that sort of as a marathon safety strat since, I'll tell you what, you explain why while I do screen scrolls.
Absolutely. So once, actually, at this point, I just want to point out also the screen scrolls going on here. So Tetra's going to clip to the left side of the screen and completely bypass the need to go around and to get to what's going to end up as level 3. So the world wrap that she just did there is incredibly challenging, and you can definitely get it after a good amount of practice, but really when you're going up against the Lionel shooting beams at you and the Zola that is trying to shoot fireballs at you at the same time, not a super user-friendly moment.
Nope, not so much. And I'm not the best at playing and talking at the same time, so I definitely appreciate you commentating so well, Threach.
I'm happy to be here. So you notice that Tetra just walked into the level 2 spot, but wait, there was no level 2 there, only level 3, and the only way you can access level 3 is by blowing the recorder to basically make the lake open up a staircase that gives you access to this level 3. Better get used to seeing these Dodongos come in 3 packs. You'll see one, at least one in first quest that only has 1 guy at a time, but man, they are not friendly here.
Not so much, but this Wallmaster room is a little bit friendlier than the one we saw last night.
Most definitely. So you don't have bubbles chasing you down in here. All these reverse C rooms are a little bit tedious because, if they have wall masters, you do need to wait to kill them. But Tetra has taken them down with no problem and is able to push the block in order to keep going through level 3. We find a transport staircase. That's another significant difference between the first quest and second quest is that you will find a lot more transport staircases in level 2, in second quest. Nice bomb drop there from the Koreas too.
All right, so now that I've finished the first 3 levels, we're going to take a walk to get the white sword and pick up a little money on the way. But now would be a great time for any donations or announcements.
Awesome. We have a little bit of Zelda love here. $22.22 from Anonymous saying Quest 2.
A lot of 2s.
Pronzo donates $25 saying Go Tetra.
Thanks, Franzo. All right, so we saw yesterday the Lionel upstairs trying to guard the white sword. We'll see how good of a pattern I get from him tonight.
So we're visiting our old friend Lionel Richie, who, again, these blue Lionels, or Lionels in general, will take 2 hearts of damage with each sword beam. So Tetra's going to have to sort of bait him down to move beneath the top row, does so, and then is able to pick up the white sword. So this is, again, a requirement of 5 heart containers in order to be eligible to pick up the white sword there, which now will do 2 points of damage, I guess if that's the unit for damage in this game, instead of the 1 that is inflicted by the wood sword.
Trying to take a specific number of enemies down. Lost a little health in the process, but hopefully that won't come back to haunt me too much here.
Yep, and you'll see Tetra do a move here up in the top right-hand corner, doing that same block clip, but in the dark room, it's just a little bit easier given the position of the blocks in here to clip around and then be able to destroy these enemies from the center of the room compared to just staying on the right or walking all the way around. So there's a key out of this first room, a really frustrating room because those bubbles are chasing you down and they have a very narrow path that they are going to stay on. So we got another Dig Dogger here. Tetra has the recorder, places a bomb, blows the whistle, and then is going to place another bomb in order to destroy the little Dig Doggers there. So really great speed strat there. It's super fun. Again, it's one of those ones that you don't really have to have a lot of game knowledge in order to get your placement right.
Now for everybody's favorite room.
The best room in the game, the Dark Nut and Bubble Room. Okay, so this is probably a good time for us to point out the bubble differences between First Quest and Second Quest. So in First Quest, you get hit by a bubble and you just get your sword taken away, or for temporarily. Not a big deal. Second Quest, you got red bubbles and you got blue bubbles, and if you get hit by a red bubble, you lose your sword until you hit a blue bubble. I believe until you up an A or until you use a potion, I think, are the ways to actually redeem that. I could be remembering randomizer rules, but in any case, it is very unfriendly to get hit by a red bubble. You can be, find yourself chasing bubbles all over dungeons in case you get hit by one, and then you have to find where in the dungeon are the blue bubbles. So huge source of frustration in this room for speedrunners at all skill levels.
Unfortunately, that last blue Dark Nut just wasn't cooperating for a while, but sometimes you just have to be patient and wait.
Yep. And again, this is another example where, it's not always about combat. Sometimes it is really just about dodging the enemies. You don't want to necessarily have to kill things the whole time. But, if you can avoid getting hit by them, you can still rely on your global counter and your bomb counter. So we are going to be taking down a few of these enemy rooms for keys as well. I mentioned earlier that keys are pretty sparse in second quest, so we want to be mindful of the resource usage in here. So Tetra is going to be taking down a few of these rooms with enemies that are take a little bit longer to defeat with the white sword, but not as long as with the wooden sword. So we're in good shape there.
I'm going to go out of my way a little bit just for safety to get a pack of bombs here. One of the ways I've lost a lot of runs in second quest is to run out of bombs at inopportune moments, so I want to do my best to go for safe marathon strats here. You may not notice it, but there's actually an invisible river that you can't see in there. That's another reason why you need the ladder this early in the game. Unfortunately, you have this toll taker in the way that wants either a heart container permanently or 50 rupees.
Yep. But by playing the money-making game, you do end up getting enough money that you don't have to lose one of your heart containers. So when life is scarce at this point, you can opt to just do the expensive route rather than the life costly route.
Exactly.
So Tetra in level 4 is going to defeat the Dig Dogger, the final room in level 4 before you pick up the Triforce and finish the dungeon. Right?
Nope.
That's it? What are you doing? Oh, wait, there's a walkthrough wall behind the Triforce. One of those things where, again, if you're playing casually and you don't know that's there, you are hunting forever. But Tetra obviously knows that's there and is going to go fight these Dark Nuts. And in the next room, this is where bomb resource management is a huge deal because you need bombs in order to take down these Dodongos. Tetra gets a great hit on that first one by basically trapping the Dodongo in a cloud of smoke. You can then stab them with your sword and then force it to drop a bomb. So you could see them stall for just a second after she places that first bomb. Again, if they land in the smoke, then you can sort of force a bomb drop there. So a lot of people refer to those as bomb refill rooms if you do get a room with Dodongos in it. So this is definitely one of the more strangely shaped rooms in the game. And it also has a bit of annoying combat here. These pulse voices, which again are primarily weak to arrows, you can defeat them with your sword, but they just take forever to take down. So they ignore barriers, they jump through walls or through blocks. So you do kind of have to chase them around the room in order to really get them taken down. So in the center row there, you can find a push block in certain rooms in Second Quest dungeons, where if you push the leftmost block in the center row, it will reveal a staircase.
Well, I think that's the first time I've ever had full health and beams picking up the raft, so doing really well with combat so far.
Fantastic. If there's a place to happen, I think this is the time. So
I totally agree. So now that we've gotten the level 4 Triforce, we're going to go all the way up to level 8.
So level 8 is a conveniently located spot, at least if you're at level 4 to begin with. But it is also incredibly difficult to find if you are playing casually. So you basically have to be at your wit's end to find it. So you notice that Tetra just laddered across the river there and bombed into a hole. So one of those things where if you don't know where it is already, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to find it. You do need the ladder to enter it. And then in this second quest, we're going to see this enemy that Tetra just passed through, which is the super ropes. And those take 4 hits. They have 4 HP compared to the ropes in first quest, which only have 1. So you notice they were blinking a little bit faster, and they do pack quite a punch, so they take a little bit more effort to take down. So another Dig Dogger taken out through the same method. Push the block. We're going to head through the staircase and into the back half of level 8.
Oh no, I'm trapped in a shoot room. What am I going to do?
Whatever. Who could have predicted this? Second quest is definitely unforgiving when it comes to those walkthrough walls, which, speaking of, chat points out, second quest is full of things that you just have to know somehow. You know what? You're not far off there.
No, it's absolutely correct. It's much more fun in a speedrun setting where you know all of the traps in advance and can avoid them than casually.
Yep. The brute forcing of this level in second quest is one of the more difficult things that I know I've experienced as a Zelda player, I suppose, but it is a doozy. So you saw Tetra killed the gorillas in that room. It was to pick up that static bomb drop. So just going out of level 8 with 7 bombs is going to be a real comfort here. We want to have as many as possible at all times, but if you know of a way to reliably have a pack of bombs, not a bad idea.
Yeah, because something like this can happen with the Dodongos.
They never go quite the way you want them to.
No, they really don't. All right, come on, folks, work with me here. Okay.
All right. Excellent bomb force there. Whew. You can tell sometimes you see someone get to that room and you know they're sweating, you're sweating. It's just like, oh, I hope the Dodongo moves in the right direction there. But Tetra takes it out with no issue whatsoever, grabs the Triforce out of 8. And now we're going to go back to a level that seems a little bit familiar. So a bit of fun here in the code. So second quest basically exists because the devs said we have twice as much space in this game as we thought we did. So we're going to make this second quest happen. So we're going to blow the recorder, and generally that will take us to the levels where we've picked up the Triforce pieces. And you notice that just took us to vanilla level 7. And the reason why that happened is the way that this game is coded, second quest level 8 is actually coded as level 7. And then there's a bit of code that reverses the displays for level 7 and 8, which you'll see also, you can know for 2 and 3 and then 4 and 5. And so since you're always blowing the recorder and going to first quest levels, the game thinks that you've picked up the Triforce in 8, or you've picked up the Triforce in 8, the game thinks it's level 7, so that way you can recorder to first quest level 7. There will be a quiz. I will be testing people on this at the end, so make sure you all are paying attention to the explanation. I think I understand it, maybe. So Tetra's back here in level 2. Nice area, a nice place right here to basically refill your bombs if the Gibdos are merciful and actually give you a good pickup.
Which they are not, but that's okay.
Not today. So, question from chat, is second quest on the standard game or is this modded? This is not modded whatsoever. After you finish first quest in Zelda 1, you are presented then with the option to start second quest, which is where Link is holding a sword up from the menu screen, and you can go through and it's an entirely new experience. Or if you are a speedrunner or you just want to try out second quest, you can just put in the name Zelda for the save file name and you will be taken right to second quest whenever you start.
And in fact, that's exactly what I did to start this run. So now we're going to be going up against one of many Gleeoks in this run.
We are going to see so many Gleeoks. Before that, I think we might have some time for some donations, since we really just have the Gleeok fight at this point.
Awesome. We have a $25 donation from Minotaurus saying, here's 5 tickets for the Oblivion train. Let's go. Also have $5 from Demarine saying, Tetra taught me how to speedrun Zelda 1, and I just wanted to thank her again.
Aw, you're very welcome, Dem. I'm going to take a little bit of a pit stop here to buy a pack of bombs. As I said, having bombs is super important, and one of the reasons why I stocked up on some extra money is so that I'd be able to afford bombs in case they become an issue.
Yep, bombs and I think arrows at this point as well, for level 5.
Yeah, I should maybe explain how arrows work since I'm about to pick up the bow, that 1 rupees actually act as your ammo.
And it is quite critical whenever you are heading to levels where you hit one of those mugger rooms where they they've taken 50 rupees, and so it's really important to be managing the rupee count that you have. One of the reasons why the MMG route is very popular for second quest runners, because it allows you to have a little bit of leeway there and not rely so much on random pickups from enemies. So here we've got the one of the more difficult rooms, at least at this part in the run, is this Wizrobe room with the spiral staircase. And of course, Tetra takes it down before I can even begin to explain why it's so difficult. But gets the kill with the white sword and is able to avoid taking any damage in that room. Those Wizrobes do take 5 hits each with the white sword, so you want to be extra careful and make sure that you're using bombs and attacking them with the white sword.
Also, I want to point out, if you ever notice the music suddenly stopping in the game, that's actually intentional. I'm using the select key to do pause strats to avoid those bubbles like that.
Yep. And as a reminder, those are the red bubbles that are going to take away your sword usage until you refill your hearts or until you finish the level. So Tetra's going to stop here and get the key. It's really, really hard to get a 1 cycle on this Goma. You basically have to get the perfect pattern for it, and he's shooting fireballs at you, so it's just a whole mess there. Tetra took it down in 2 cycles, though, and grabbed the key. So it's going to basically move from here through the end of level 5.
And we're going to take another pit stop for a key in a very dark room. Oh.
You know what everyone loves? Walk through walls, Wizrobes, and bubbles all in the same room.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Fortunately, I had another red Wizrobe spawn exactly where I did not want one. But that's okay, we'll work around him.
Yep, so managed to avoid the bubbles in there. Very good news to get through the end of the level. We're going to run into another Gleeok here before the end. I hope that you all love Gleeoks, because that is what we are going to see in alarming numbers here.
Perfect time to use a potion right when you're down to your last heart.
Yep. No chances taken with those red Wizrobes, because their beams do still cause 4 points of damage. They are really rough when you're on the green tunic there.
Yep, that's what the potion's there for. Okay, this is going to be another tough dodging room here. Oh, come on, get on my way, Bluey. Thank you.
Yeah, the dodging required in level 5 is it's incredible. So we come out here to a familiar face, Manhandla. Sometimes doesn't really like to play nicely with the bomb placement, and can be, a bit of a difficult fight there as you're running around. But thankfully, was kind to us today. So just have to go through this Keese room. So Tetra just killed the master Keese in that room, where you'll find that in some enemy packs, where if you destroy the primary Keese in there, the primary enemy, then it will make all the other enemies become defeated as well.
Oh, lucky bomb drop there. And now Gleeok's back with more heads. Not too big of a deal with the white sword, though.
Yep. I think 8, 9 hits to take down that Gleeok, and then Triforce out of 5. So we're headed to level 6. We just need 2 more pieces of Triforce at this point before we can head to level 9. And we're going to see pretty much a standard, end of the run for second quest here. Tetra is going to use the same trick that, the same method used yesterday known as the recorder, which is where you use the screen transition of the whistle warp and the forward movement of the raft to transport you one screen west and one screen north. And Tetra is going to do that in order to get over into the graveyard to get to level 6.
And now level 6 is another round of dodging wizards, everybody's favorite enemy. And by everybody, I mean nobody.
They are very, very nasty in here. So it's almost worth it to take that the bonk by the leg like there in order to avoid damage from the Wizrobe. Because if you really have to, if it comes down to it, you always want to be thinking like, what is going to do the least amount of damage to me? So nice clock drop there on the ground. I can avoid any further damage from those Wizrobes, and also nice fairy drop too. So we want to, regain as much life as possible. So,
yeah, that was a really lucky clock, so I figured I would take advantage of it. When the game throws you a bone, you want to take it.
Absolutely. So blue bubbles, not too big of a deal. They're just a little annoying. They're going to bop you back a little bit. But they're not going to take your sword away, and really that's what we're concerned about here.
Mm-hmm. So one more detour for some keys, or for key. Okay, stay out of my way, Wizrobes, please. Good.
So this is a really unusual screen that Tetra just entered quickly and then left, is that really weird water screen that you can't really get across with the ladder normally, but I bet you'd like to have more Gleox.
Oh, everybody loves Gleox. I don't know what you're talking about, Threach.
I mean, you know what? Just for funsies.
Oh, oops, I got red bubbled there.
Well, I think it'll be okay. You really just need arrows at this point, but you know what? Let's just see what happens.
Yep.
No, you know exactly what's going on. It's at this point, level 6 is pretty merciful. You just need the 3 arrow shots in order to kill the Goma here. You don't need your sword, and as a result of finishing the dungeon and picking up the Triforce, you actually are going to get your sword back. So no worries whatsoever.
Yep. Exactly. So now we're going to go on a little bit of a journey to get the magical sword, which you need 12 heart containers for, and I'm 1 shy of right now. So now would also be a great time for some donations or announcements if you have any.
Awesome. We have a $50 donation from Anonymous. It says Twofer, helping us get into those bonus games. And we have $10 from Sinistral, saying, had to donate during Tetris run and always glad to help out a great cause. Here's to hoping the game doesn't rope you into a patronizing conversation. Donation goes to Runner's Choice.
Oh, the puns. Thank you, Sinistral.
That was good. That was very good.
Okay. Oh gosh, these Lionels are not playing nice.
Not at all. One unusual thing here about Second Quest as well that I want to point out is the same way we got to Second Quest level 6 is by blowing the recorder on various spots throughout the overworld will actually open up more staircases on the overworld. So whereas normally in First Quest you would only see them allowing you to open up spots in the lake, areas here you actually can do that all over the overworld. And there, for example, you pick up an extra heart container. But Tetra now has the magical sword, which is really excellent, does 4 points of damage, and is going to be the most powerful weapon you can get at this point. So. All right, so I think we could probably fit in another donation.
Awesome. We have $10 from Roger. Says, I had no idea you could put Zelda to skip to Second Quest. Thanks for the info.
Well, you're very welcome. So level 7 here is a lot like level 8 in the First Quest, with lots of blue dark nuts and blue lagoons. And a lot of more dodging in typical Second Quest fashion.
Everyone's favorite rooms, dark nuts and bubbles.
We're just going to stay out of those blue dark nuts way.
Yep, on the green tunic, they're still going to do 2 points of damage, so that does add up quickly. So you want to avoid taking as much damage as possible while you can. This room, not too bad. You can use the bubbles to sort of do a damage boost through the enemies without actually taking any damage, since the multicolor whitish bubbles actually don't do any damage to you. They just take away your sword.
Yeah, I guess we would call it a damageless boost.
I feel like that's another category, isn't it? So actually, to that point, we do want to point out this is, again, any percent, which is by contrast to any percent no up and A. So Tetra is making use, again, of the ability to do effectively a save and quit to get to the beginning of a level or to the start screen for this quest. So in case anyone's curious, what happens with the up and A, you basically press the start button on the second controller, and if you press up and A at the same time, it takes you to sort of a soft reset. The nice thing about Magical Sword here is that it does only take 2 hits to take down those blue dark nets. Unfortunately, you're also going against the Beamoses that are shooting beams at you, so you do need to be a little careful not to get hit by the fireballs and by the blue dark nets here. But this guy, we know what he's about, so another blue Goma here, 3 arrow shots, and should make quick work of it.
That's the last one, but that's okay. You got him.
Yeah, their patterns are really unforgiving sometimes. And then I believe it's 8 seconds between each cycle. So if you do end up not destroying them in one, then it can take you up to another 8 seconds. So really critical, especially in, quick world record pace speed runs, that you do get the blue Gomas on one cycle if at all possible.
And now we have another toll collector here. Since I stocked up on money, we're going to pay him off instead of with life. Need all the hearts I can get.
Yep, so we've got another Blue Lagoon here, and it's not too bad because you do have all these diagonal blocks that give you quite an opportunity to do damage to the blue dark nets. Again, remembering that it only takes 2 hits in order to take them down in this with the magical sword, but they are giving us some good heart drops, which is really fortunate.
I'm going to be very careful with this last one because I'm down to 2 hearts and they do 2 hearts of damage.
But nicely done, making your way through the transport staircase here over into the back half of level 7. There are those bubbles again. Bye, bubbles. No more.
I'm thinking let's use a potion here for safety because this is the last place you want to have to restart from.
Yeah, these enemies, they do come back if you are if you do take a death late in the dungeon, so you have quite a bit of backtracking to do, but should be no problem at all at this point, especially with the heart drops, with the magical sword, and being so close to the end should be no issue.
Yep. And luckily we're going to have plenty of bombs for 8. Or, I'm sorry, for level 9.
But what if you had plenty of Gleeoks?
Well, 4 heads good, 2 heads bad, or something like that.
You know what? I think that sounds right. So should be a real quick heart refill here. Just have a heart once we get the Triforce here. It wraps up level 7 there, and then that's the last piece of Triforce that we need to grab before entering level 9.
Now we're going to show off the Rue Quarter trick one more time. This time we're going to Rue Quarter to level 6, and that takes us conveniently very close to level 9 in the second quest.
Yep, you'll notice that Zola there is popping up at random points in the water here. Really, really annoying during speedruns, especially because one wrong fireball is just...
Yep, speaking of really annoying, the Zola spawned exactly on top of me there, which is the worst.
They knew.
Take that.
Zola knew we were talking about him. Well, there's a fairy, just, out of spite or something. So the boundaries in this game basically allow you to clip into a lot of things in the overworld. So Tetra was able to use that recorder trick to get up here to Death Mountain. If you missed the explanation last night, the Rue Quarter is, again, that screen transition exploit that allows you to transition screen north and west, and it was discovered by Roo Slugs. So it's ROOCORDER. So Tetra bombs up to get into level 9. There's no old man in here telling you can't go. So this is good stuff as far as we can go, and another walk-through wall, because why not? So the walkthrough wall in there is akin to level 2, where you are actually in a shoot room at the beginning there. So it does sort of guide you to that side, but then you get dumped out into this really nasty Wizrobe room. Those guys do, again, give you a pretty nasty hit, so taking extra care to avoid damage as much as possible there.
Okay. That was a nail biter.
All right.
Going to be very careful with these keys here.
Yep. So the silver arrows here are needed in order to defeat Ganon. Nicely done. Tetra grabs the silver arrows, does an up and A, and gets to the beginning of the level where you do get a free 3-heart refill. So nicely avoided there. Whew. All right, so in here we're going to see these blue land molas. They are nasty and they are super fast, but you can block clip or you can stand in the door and they don't do too much damage. So Tetra's got 20 rupees, and again, knowing that rupees are ammunition for the arrows in here, in really good shape as far as what you need to finish the game, which is technically 1. So from here on out, we're going to get up to the northwest corner of the map, and we do want to just be avoiding enemies at this point. Nice clock there and full bombs. We're in good shape. Level 9 really isn't too bad in the speed run once you actually know the route, but casually, this can be quite the endeavor to be exploring in level 9 and figure out where you need to go, especially given the walk-through walls and the really trolly enemies in here.
I'm going to be very careful and use pause strats to avoid them.
There's our friends, the bubbles, again. All right, gets out of there with no damage from the blue Wizrobe, so good call there. They do tend to have reliable spawn patterns for the most part. So, if you know or can anticipate at least in part where they're going to move, then you can generally get out of there with too much of an issue. The next room, there's a next room in the first quest, but you do not have to walk through a wall to get to it. So, thanks, old man.
All right, so I think we're going to take a little bit of a pit stop here to pick up the red ring. In first quest, the red ring is way out of your way, but fortunately it's just right next door to a room you need to be in anyway.
Yep, and the red ring is going to be the only armor upgrade that you're probably going to see ever in a speedrun for Zelda one. Well, actually, it's a little bit less common than the blue ring, but in effect, what it does is it quadruples your health. So, forgive my math. So Tetra has 13 hearts right now. So she's in effect going to have 52 hearts of damage that she's going to be able to take.
Well, technically, it's going to only be 20 because I have 5 showing as filled heart containers. And if Patrick keeps going to the left, it's going to be even fewer. But, oh my gosh, this one just does not want to cooperate tonight.
That Petra is like, I do not want you to have a good time. She's just chasing you around the room.
There we go.
Excellent. So once you defeat the little buzzy bees hanging out around Patra, you do have to get the little eye guy in the middle, and it takes a few sword slashes in order to defeat that.
Now, Threach, what's better than one trolley Patra?
Several? Two trolley. I know the answer to this, but what's better than 2 trolley Patras? How about 2 trolley Patras with Beamoses? And the second one expands. Why not? What else do we have going on?
Uh-oh, I think this one got mad.
Uh-oh.
All right, not the end of the world. That's what the ring is for. All right. Moving right along. Here's Ganon.
So Ganon is pretty similar to First Quest. It does spawn in a different corner, and the entrance is on the left this time instead of on the bottom. But with the magical sword, it's just going to take 4 sword slashes to bring him down, and then 1 shot with a silver arrow. Tetra gets the stun lock there, takes down Ganon easily and with no problem, grabs the last Triforce, and heads up here to rescue Princess Zelda. GG's excellent run. That is the Legend of Zelda second quest. Please get your GGs in chat for Tetra. Fantastic job.
Thanks so much. And I think with that, we can turn it over for the next run. Want to thank everyone in the Z1 community for their support and for all the help that they've given me over the years. And Threach, you want to say anything or thank anyone?
Thanks, Tetra, for this incredible run. Thanks for the opportunity to do commentary for the run as well. I'm so impressed with the work that you've put into this and what you've been able to accomplish on here. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks again to the Zelda 1 community for being awesome. And yeah, everyone enjoy the rest of the marathon.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks so much, Tetra, for that awesome Legend of Zelda run. Man, second quest, super difficult run, made it look easy. We have a few more donations trying to see that Oblivion run get met. We have $15 from Brooke18 that says, I want to see walls in an Elder Scrolls game. We have $25 from Be Kind. Thanks so much, Be Kind. We have a $5 donation from eGlads saying, so excited to see another week of games for a great cause. Here's hoping we can get those bonus games going. We also have our cumulative bonus run 2, where we are looking for trying to meet a cumulative incentive. That's going to be Pokemon Snap on Thursday. So if you'd like to see Pokemon Snap as our second bonus run on Thursday, try to get some of those donations in. In addition to counting for our next bonus run, which is Oblivion. We have $5 from NK220 saying Chiribit. We also have $5 from Kilasi5. Thanks so much for that donation. All right, I see people in chat saying, I want to see Snap. So let's try to get some of those donations in for our Pokemon Snap as our bonus game number 2. But I think we are going to throw it over to our next run. Oh, sorry, we are throwing it to a Twitch ad at the moment. Welcome back. We have a $100 anonymous donation. Thank you so much, Anonymous, for that $100 donation. We also have a $10 donation from Jake206. Thanks for that $10 donation. That puts us currently at $1,747.43 out of our $5,000 for our Oblivion run. Let's see if there's any other tickets for that $5 donation train we had going on earlier. I see an anonymous donation for $5. Thanks so much, Anonymous, for continuing that donation train. We have a $10 donation from Soul Mass. This donation is to wish a happy birthday to my wonderful wife, Tara. I love you. Everybody say happy birthday to Tara. Thanks for that $10 donation. We have another $10 donation from Patrick235. Says Zelda 1 is a personal favorite of mine. Happy to see the run and to raise money for such a good cause. Well, that was a great Zelda 1 run. Thank you so much, Tetra, for that run. These donations are going to Malala Fund. Malala Fund is working for a world where every girl can learn and lead. With more than 130 million girls out of school today, they're breaking down barriers that hold girls back through investing in local education activists, advocating to local leaders to hold local leaders accountable, and amplifying girls' voices. So these donations are going to a great cause. Thank you so much to all of our donors so far. You can also donate by purchasing one of the Frost Fatale shirts. The Yeti is donating $5 per Frost Fatale shirt sold to the Malala Fund. You can find shirts at theyeti.com. Have another ticket for that donation train. Burks85 donates $5 and says, "Donation train." Thanks for that donation. In addition to our bonus run, we still have bid and bid war incentives open for all of our nicknames for Final Fantasy VIII. You can donate to get to choose and name one of the characters. And that is it for me tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for having me tonight. I've been Geekella, and we're going to switch over to our next host. So, welcome, Leggy.
Hi, all. Leggy Starscream here. And while we get set up for our next run, I just want to remind everyone that we're out here raising money for Malala Fund. Malala Fund is working for a world where every girl can learn and lead. With more than 130 million girls out of school today, they're breaking down barriers that hold girls back through investing in local education activists, advocating to hold leaders accountable, and amplifying girls' voices. And every single one of your donations goes towards helping support this amazing cause. We have a $5 donation from the Vigilante, who says, I'm sorry, did I wake up to see an Oblivion incentive isn't getting met to the benefit of Malala Fund? Come on, homies. We're better than that. Thank you so much, everyone, for continuing to work towards getting that Oblivion run met. We also have a $25 donation from Cognizant saying, you folks are amazing. Thank you for fundraising such a great cause. And with that, we have Final Fantasy VIII.